And now it's time for the Michelle Dawn Mooney Show.
I can't wait for my next guest to join me. She has become a friend of mine over the years because we've had a few times to connect. She is fabulous, literally, figuratively. She is the host of My So-Called Fabulous, and she is also an author. She is a chef. She is a mom. She is an influencer. She is a home interior design lover and lover of fashion and all things entertaining and home and all the good stuff, all that fabulous lifestyle stuff that we all love so much. So not only is she going to be talking about all of the fabulousness that is in her life, but she is also going to share some fabulous recipes, especially if you're looking for something special to whip up for Valentine's Day. So without further ado, please welcome my special guest, Tiffany Blackmon. Yay! Hi, Tiffany.
It's good to see you again. I get to see you on social media, but now face to face, virtually, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And vice versa, because I have been so enjoying everything that you're doing on your website. I want to point out that's tiffanycblackmon.com. We're going to put it up right there so people can go to it. Please go and subscribe because you are going to have some great tips and recipes. We'll see some of the recipes. You just have some great things to talk about. And you have a great background and a great life that led you up to this point. So let's take a minute to talk about that, Tiffany. You are located in Texas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I met you for the first time as a chef because you had a fabulous panini cookbook that I had you on the show to talk about. I think it was Panini Day or something like that because you know I love my holidays. But you have several cookbooks out and you have quite the resume of doing a lot of different things, kind of the Jill of all trades. So tell us about kind of your background and how it led to where we are today.
Well, thank you for having me. And so I really started out, Michelle, back in the day. I went to TCU undergraduate, just got a food science and nutrition degree, and decided to go. I taught high school for 5 long years.
Wow.
When I was 20. High school, I know. So then the recruiter from Johnson & Wales University came to my seniors and I said, you know what, Calgon, take me away. So I went to culinary school and I had always had an interest in food and, just wanted something different. Not necessarily to work in a restaurant, but anyway. So I went to culinary school and then started working for Southern Living. And then after the big bust of print publication, when digital marketing took over, I was working at Southern Living and then decided to go solo and wrote, I have 3 cookbooks now. And that was many years ago. You met me on my book tour on the first one, and that was Panini. And I've written the cookbooks and I've done that and I've loved every second of it. It's great for my resume. But, I work for the beef industry and I'm actually making a beef recipe today. Right when COVID hit, I had made the decision to go into the influencing world and podcasting because you and I both love media. We come from a media background. And so I did it. I just jumped in and now at the grand age of 58, I'm the social media influencer and podcasting and loving it.
I'm Tiffany Blackmon, and this is My So-Called Fabulous.
But I told you last year when we worked together that I wanted to go back to my roots a little bit and do more cooking. So I've done that. On Wednesdays, we offer a recipe that I've published or I've created, and so we do that. But we're still the fashion world. It's just very, very fun, and I absolutely love it. I'm in that world. I'm not sure what's going on half the time because it's a young girls game with the digital technology, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
And I think we are both kind of cut from the same cloth in that we tend to get bored easily if you're just doing one thing. You have to kind of have your hands in everything. And you clearly are that person where you do a lot of different things, but you do them so well. And I'm just thrilled that you were able to kind of follow your heart and your passion to kind of dive into uncharted territory for you and what you've been doing and maybe a little bit out of your safe comfort zone, because I think that's really hard for us, especially as women. I think more with the aging process, women out there know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit harder, I think, to make those decisions. So kudos to you. I'm so happy that you're happy. The thing is, you're making a lot of other people happy too, because you're putting out great content. Once again, go to her website, tiffanycblackmon.com. You'll see what I mean. And you're all over social media as well. We'll give out the social media handles at the end. But I just learned just a few minutes ago that not only are we having one amazing dish, you're going to talk to us about a fantastic, I feel myself gaining weight already, just thinking about it. But let's talk about beef crostini we're going to make. And then you have a super fantastic treat, triple chocolate pound cake. Is that it?
That's it.
I can taste it now, Tiffany. I can taste it now. Okay. So where do we start?
Okay, where do we begin? Okay, so this particular recipe, beef crostini, and you can link the recipe. And what it is, it's with shaved Parmesan cheese, and I'm adding a balsamic drizzle on top. What I'm using is a beef tenderloin. Let me preface this with, you can go to the deli market and you can certainly get sliced beef. Whatever you would like. If you have a strip steak left over, if you have a filet, or if you have a roast, you can use the cut of beef of your choice and the price point to work with this. So here's what we've got. I have behind me, so I'll be reaching backwards and forwards, but this is sourdough bread. I'm making it with sourdough bread because I love the flavor profile that works so well and how well the sourdough holds up to the bite. And I've sliced these thinly, and I put a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper on top. And then I use this fabulous pan. This is a grill pan. Now, it's cold where you are, I believe. It's a little chilly here, but you can use a grill if you like. You can use a griddle if you'd like. But I'm using a grill pan because look at the nice grill marks that this makes on the crostini. And both sides, I'll flip it on both sides. So I have 4 pieces. This is for 2 people. You can do this you could make this an entree if you like, but right now I'm just making it as an appetizer. You can also use gluten-free bread if you'd like, but I'm using Boursin cheese. And it's a mixture of Boursin cheese, which is a blend of Neuchâtel and different herbs and spices. You can just get this in the market. And it's at room temperature, and I'm just going to spread this on the top. And you're just going to give it a smear, I'll call this a smear, of flavor, and this is going to hold the beef in place. Now, I cooked the toast points or the crostini earlier, and they're not, you don't want it so crisp that when you take a bite, it's very difficult to taste. You want this as a handheld. I'm going to come back. I have a nice medium rare tenderloin that I've shaved. And again, you can just go to the butcher or the deli and get this if you'd like.
Can I tell you though, Tiffany, just the bread and the cheese alone, I'm already loving that. I don't know if that would make it to the beef because that looks so good to me.
I am a cheese lover as well. Oh my gosh, I love it. So you don't want to add too much, Michelle. You don't just a little bit of the beef and not pile this too incredibly high. And then I will come back and I'm going to add a little bit of arugula. And the arugula, I'm just going to pile on top. And that arugula is a peppery taste. If you don't care for arugula, or if you would prefer something more mild, I would just use spinach. I'm going to come back and do the second one for you and one for me. So while I'm talking about this, while I'm assembling this, I would serve this with a red wine that is probably not too heavy, because I would save the heavier wine for if you're having steak or something a little more rich for your main course. And this may be your main course. So I have 2 here, so you can see what they look like at this point. I'm going to come back now with a shaving of the Parmesan cheese. So I just have a vegetable peeler, and then there's nothing fancy about this, and I'm going to shave this and just take this piece and lay it right on top. I have a balsamic syrup here. You can certainly find this in your specialty markets in your spice aisle. And I'm going to just do a drizzle of the balsamic syrup. It is divine. So you got a little bit of sweet, then you got a little bit of vinegar there with the balsamic. I'm going to come back with freshly ground black pepper and a little bit of sea salt right on top. And there you go. That's it.
Beautiful. That looks so good. My husband would love that. So I think I see a roast in my future, basically.
If you're not comfortable, just go to the market, go to the deli and ask them for, just a good quality a roast beef that they'll slice, do a shaving on it, and you're ready to go. I mean, this thin on it, and you can honestly, yeah, I mean, it's super easy. And that's one of those things, just as you said earlier, you can totally prep in advance for this.
Yeah.
I mean, except the bread. The bread this morning we actually got at the bakery, and it's fresh, so it's getting a little dense and a little bit tough. So you don't want to get that ahead of time. So I just right when you and I were coming on earlier is when I started cooking that on the grill.
It looks fantastic. So we have our bellies full now, if you want to use that as a main course, if you want to use an appetizer. And now we've had our Valentine's dinner, at least the main part of the dinner. But I think dessert is the main part, because literally that's all I need in a dinner. So let's talk about some delicious decadence that I'm so excited that you're sharing with us. This triple chocolate pound cake, which sounds heavenly.
Heavenly, and there are 3 chocolates in here. However, the number of ingredients in this particular cake is so minimal. It's an indulging recipe. You can indulge in this is not something I eat every day at all. So, because there's quite a bit of sugar. So let me talk to you about this recipe. It's called triple chocolate pound cake. This is what it looks like in the end. And there's a little bit, my husband's already has some. It's very, very dense and dark. Devil's Food cake mix is what the base is. I've also put instant pudding in this chocolate pudding. And then I also have semi-sweet chocolate chips in here. So what this is the cake mix, the pudding, a little bit of oil, and I used avocado oil. If you use olive oil, you have the tendency with baked products, especially sweet, to have a different flavor profile. But with avocado oil, it came out perfectly. This is such a moist cake because there's so much chocolate in it. This is the bundt pan that I use. And what I do is I just put a little bit of butter in the bottom and then a little bit of all-purpose or flour in here and just do a dusting on this so it'll come out beautifully. It'll come out beautifully after you cook it. So I use my large mixer for this. Put all the ingredients together. There's 4 eggs, like I said, oil, the cake mix, the semi-sweet chocolate chips, which you have to fold in at the end because I don't want to disrupt the structure, because when you cut this cake, it certainly comes out and you actually see the chocolate chips in this. At one point, I made this with dark chocolate chips and semi-sweet chocolate chips, so it was like a 4, so it's a quadruple pound cake, so I played with this a lot. When you're slicing this cake, I like to use a serrated knife. And I've done that because you want to kind of saw this because it is so incredibly moist. This serves about 12 people depending on the size of cake that you are slicing, so you can see this.
Wow.
I know, it's fabulous. It's so fabulous. So I'm going to turn this to the side, and what I've done is I have taken some fresh berries, some blueberries, some raspberries, some blackberries, strawberries, basically what I had in the refrigerator. And what I've done is added a little bit of monk fruit sweetener, a little bit of triple sec, which is an orange liqueur, and a little bit of orange juice. And I've let these marinate. Gosh, they've been sitting in the refrigerator overnight. They're nice and cold. So they have kind of a spike. You can absolutely leave out the triple sec. That is a preference for sure. I took heavy whipping cream earlier and just used my mixer. I decided not to put sugar in here because there's so much sugar in the cake and there's sugar in the berries.
Look at that. Oh,
this
my
gorgeous
goodness.
cake.
That is gorgeous.
So good. If I make this cake for my family or my friends, this is, I would love to say it's all they need, but they enjoy the little touch that I typically don't make at home. So, you can start your evening with a glass of champagne. You can have, and then an appetizer of this fabulousness, and then a glass of, a Pinot Noir would be fabulous with this. And then finish it up after your dinner, whatever you choose. We have got so many ideas on our blog for leading up to Valentine's Day. And then finish this with a fabulous rosé champagne, and you are good to go.
I love it. You have given me my menu for Valentine's Day, and so easy. As you said, there are definitely shortcuts you can take with the beef. If you just want to get really good roast beef at your market, you can even prep all of your ingredients ahead. And then the cake, clearly that can last before the actual holiday. And sometimes, I think whatever holiday it is, especially Valentine's Day, is just about having something that feels indulgent and that feels special. And making this cake, if it's not Valentine's Day, but maybe it's just a day that, you're tired, the family's been through a lot of craziness, and you just need a special celebration. And maybe it's a Wednesday, Thursday, random Monday, where you just need to make a chocolate cake and say, you know what? We deserve to celebrate with triple chocolate or quadruple chocolate if you want to add the extra chocolate in there.
Failed to mention the frosting, which is a ganache right on top.
Oh.
The ganache is so easily made. It is basically semi-sweet, 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and a 1/4 cup of whipping cream. And then I just microwave that at 30 seconds. And it's 30 seconds and probably then 10 seconds so it won't sieve and burn. And then I just make sure that the cake is cooled completely. And then I just drizzle. I don't know if you can tell because I cooked this a couple of days ago, but you can tell it's just kind of got a neat icing on it. That's a beautiful, it's almost like it has kind of a little shell-like feature, so it's a little bit more dense. And when you pop this and heat it in the microwave, it just drizzles down the side, so it's fabulous.
I love it. And you know what I would do? Because my husband and my family, they make fun of me. I am an ice cream aholic. Everything tastes better with ice cream. So I would probably take that and I would have to maybe warm it up just a tad with a scoop of ice cream and maybe some leftover ganache if it was there.
Yes.
I can't wait to try that, Tiffany. It looks great. Tiffany Blackmon, you can go to her website, tiffanycblackmon.com, and find out more about the recipes we discussed today. And you heard her say there's tons of entries, and I've been loving everything you have. I mean, you have pajamas and sweaters and gift ideas and just so many fun things for the house and for the family. And I love seeing all the content that you've been putting out there. And more importantly, I love that you are so happy in this space. And I think that really shows through because with your podcast, My So-Called Fabulous, which you definitely want to subscribe to her podcast, you can just tell that you're just really enjoying every minute of this. And I think that shines through. And that's why people are pulled to that, because when somebody's sharing something that they love, they want to learn more, you know, so that happiness is just kind of is overflowing and it's kind of transcending out there. So I'm so happy that you're in this place, and I'm so happy that we have been able to connect again and we've become friends over the last couple of years. And I love what you're putting out there. And I'm so happy that you could share this with my audience here and with me, because I want to try all of these things.
Well, I'm glad and I'm so proud of you. Gosh, I mean, we're in that place. We get to do what we want to do. And that's just, it's a great feeling.
It really is a huge blessing, but it's not always easy, but it's definitely something that we would recommend. TiffanyCBlackmon.com. Be sure to visit the website. My So-Called Fabulous is her fabulous podcast. So be sure to check her out. And I cannot wait to see what's next that TiffanyCBlackmon.com has going for us. But it's such a joy to see you every time, Tiffany. I'm excited. Maybe we'll get out there to Texas and I can actually see you in person.
Yes. I have talked to you on my podcast. I think
I love it. Can you save a piece of chocolate cake for me too?
Especially for you.
Happy Valentine's Day. I know you're going to have a great holiday with that food, but it's so good to see you and hope you have a wonderful holiday.
You as well. Thank you.
Want more MDM content? For more fun and exciting interviews, visit MichelleDawnMooney.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.